Jen St. Dennis is with us from Business in Vancouver. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Welcome to a Friday, and Nordstrom put out their earnings. So what are we expecting here? What did we expect?
They actually were worse than analysts expected. So that was kind of the bad news for Nordstrom's. But, Nordstrom's is not alone. A lot of the major U.S. retailers have had a really disappointing first quarter. So that includes Macy's, Kohl's, JCPenney reporting out this morning as well. Kind of the same story, that their profits and their sales are just not doing what the analysts expected. And they're kind of having this continuing struggle because these are the traditional kind of department store retailers. And then Nordstrom's has this model that it's a sort of more high-end, a lot of really good customer service, but even that, not really enough, it appears, to kind of continue to compete with these upstarts like Amazon, and just maybe changing taste for consumers as they kind of, and that whole shift between like having to balance the online with the in-store sales is really a struggle for these traditional retailers. Now, we know that Nordstrom's had its big splashy opening in Vancouver back in the fall. Now, they expect that Vancouver could have the potential to be one of its highest grossing stores. Now, I'm not really sure if that's happening yet because those results were not really reported out in this report, but that'll be something to see in the future if that promise gets fulfilled.
Well, if you've gone by there, it's busy. I mean, there's lots of people going in and out, so maybe that's the case.
Yeah, it's a lovely shopping experience. I recommend it. I go to the sales rack. I go straight to the sales rack, but it's a great shopping experience.
All right, well, let's move on and talk about GDP growth, which is something we're also following this morning.
Yeah, that's right. StatsCan are reporting out GDP growth for 2015, and what they're showing is that if your province has a really economy that's really focused on oil, that it did not do well, so it had negative GDP growth. So that would be Saskatchewan, Alberta, and also Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, all the other provinces, though, saw GDP growth. So the total GDP growth for the country was 0.9%. British Columbia, again, we saw with jobs and some other economic indicators, and with GDP now leading that. So GDP growth for BC was the highest at 3%. The lowest was Alberta at negative 4%. And that's going to be the story in the future as well. For this year, expecting to see sort of a contraction in those oil-producing provinces, but the provinces like BC, Ontario, and Quebec, with sort of more diversified economies, expected to see some growth.
All right, well, we'll monitor that situation. Thank you very much, Jed.
Thanks.
If you want some more details, go to BIV.com.